Hello everybody, this is your host Colin McIsaac from the Nintendo Week podcast. On this week's show, the three of us talked about our all-time 5 favorite Nintendo games, what our favorites are, why we love them, and what makes them so dang special. The full episode is available now on iTunes, but it was long, so here on YouTube we're splitting it up into 2 discussion videos. One for our honorable mentions, that's about 10 minutes, and one for our top 5s, that's about 30 minutes. Keep watching this video to hear all about our favorite games that didn't make the cut, but we love them too much to ignore, and be sure to check out our real top 5 discussion here on YouTube, link in the description and in the YouTube cards. Otherwise, let's get to it! Hello everybody and welcome back to Nintendo Week. I'm your host Colin McIsaac and I'm joined as always by Alex Plant.
I can't wait to play as myself in Mario Maker.
And Ben Lemoreau.
I can't wait to play as Alex in Mario Maker.
I think it makes sense to start with our honorable mentions. So, ABC, Alex, Ben, Colin, Alex, go.
First honorable mention, Super Mario Bros. 3. I consider it the best 2D platformer ever made, which I guess tips my hand that I don't have any 2D platformers on my top 5, but
spoilers.
There you have it.
I do, and none of them are Mario 3.
Well, then I can't fire you because you're the boss, but...
Okay, Mario 3.
Okay, this should come as no surprise to you that I'm bringing this game up on a podcast, but Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Yes!
Even though it's, so short and they botched the replay value of it, it's still just so adorable and so charming, and the puzzles, they're creative, and it uses the gamepad not, as much as maybe it could, but it uses the gamepad more than most first-party Wii U games, so I love it. I actually just re-downloaded it the other day.
Nice.
Ben has feelings of love?
I know, right? Only for the Toad.
Only for the adorable Toad.
Not even Toadette? Whoa.
Toadette's not bad, I guess. She's alright. She gets it.
So my first honorable mention, I don't know if it's really fair to lump these two together, but Smash Bros. And Mario Kart. And the reason that I'm honorable mentioning them is because I feel like I just really wanted my top 5 to be sort of a list of games that are more like holistic, singular experiences that you can play and like complete and then move on from, whereas Smash and Mario Kart are obviously big parts of like my gaming habits that I still play them all the time. So I feel like it wasn't quite fair to put them in the top 5, especially considering all the Smash games I think are just so great that it wouldn't really be fair to put one of them in the top 5 above any other, and then same goes for Mario Kart. So I think honorable mentions, they're like lifestyle habit games and they're freaking amazing. But because my top 5 is all about like the games that stick with you instead of the games that you just keep playing over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the end of my sentence.
I also have Smash Bros. In my honorable mentions. Specifically, I think the 2 best ones are Melee for its purity and 4 for just the huge roster and actually pretty decent balance. So both of those are probably the most fun for me. And like you, they're not in my top 5 because I can't really say that they're experiences that have touched me, but they're still games that I fall back on a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the flow and say that Smash Bros. U is next on my list for honorable mentions.
Okay.
And I love all Smash Bros, but I grew up playing the heck out of the N64, the original, and I play a lot of Smash Bros. U now. I played quite a bit of Brawl, but Melee, I actually I didn't own a GameCube growing up, so Melee is the one I have the least experience with. So it's probably lowest on my list, not for quality, but just because I don't have as much of an attachment to it as I do the other ones. But Smash Bros. U is going to be my honorable mention, just because I love having Smash Bros. In HD. Like Alex said, I think it's a lot better balanced than some of the previous games. So that is mine.
Nice. Well, speaking of GameCube, my next honorable mention is Luigi's Mansion, which is... Basically, I just felt like it would have been number 6. I think actually it was my number 5 and I had to kick it off because of some other game I thought of. But either way, just an amazing game. It's really cool to explore the mansion. I love that it's an open world game in like this really contained area. In open world by its actual definitions and not just in the sense that it has like a huge open space. Because obviously Luigi's Mansion doesn't do that. But it sort of tests that limit of game design, like what a nice cohesive experience open world games offer, but it does it in like this really confined context. I think the simple narrative of just the ghosts is just a lot of fun. It feels great just exploring more and more areas of this mansion as it sort of unfolds, and it's this perfect game length for me at like 6 hours or so, where it's long enough that it feels like a complete holistic experience that's really satisfying, and yet short enough that you can go back and replay multiple times, and they actually have like a high scorekeeper. So you can try to challenge yourself and get more money and stuff, more gold, more jewels, throughout the game, and like beat old playthroughs. So I think that's really cool. I love Luigi's Mansion. So.
Would you love it more if he was having an existential crisis in that game?
I mean, I think he already is.
Yeah, Mario's not there.
I don't think any of the Luigi's Mansion stuff happened in real life. That's just a metaphor for it.
Next for me is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This actually used to be my favorite game of all time. But, you know, having gone back and played it again recently when the 3DS version came out, you know, it needs to be more of that epic Zelda adventure, I think, for me to have it as my top Zelda game now. So it's been bumped down.
It's just a little too different from the you know, the heart of the Zelda experience.
Yeah, like
I see.
I entered the series with Ocarina of Time, and so for Majora's Mask was really a great follow up to that, and that's probably why I connected with it so much as a kid. Now that the 3DS version has come out, I will say I like the original more. I don't like a lot of the changes that they introduced, and I think if any of you have read my review on Gamnesia, you know this. I love the visual polish that they've added, but a lot of the content and structural changes I don't really care for. But I love it because it's such a personal game, and that's not really something I can say for any of the other Zelda games, but you really feel a connection with the characters, with the world. And the atmosphere, I think, is unmatched among Zelda games.
Yeah, Majora's Mask is excellent, and it'd be on my list too, but I've got another Zelda game on there, and so I decided I should try to keep it to one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Majora's Mask was very close to making it on this list for me as well. So my last honorable mention is Paper Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to say?
What more do you need to say?
It's Paper Mario. It's great, and by that I mean the first two are great.
There are other Paper Mario games?
Well, they're not Paper Mario games.
Yeah, I know.
So my next honorable mention, and it's not my last one, but Ocarina of Time, Alex. This is actually the highest Zelda game on my list. I don't have any in my top 5. Not that I don't love Zelda, but I just love too many games.
You just love Mother 3 more.
Well, yes. But Ocarina of Time is, I think, my favorite Zelda game. I think it doesn't get the credit it deserves, not only as, you know, what a revolutionary game it was, but for the sort of, the narrative is simple, but there's a lot more to it than I think anyone ever gives it credit for. It doesn't feel just like the base vanilla, Explore Hyrule. Okay, my dog. But yeah, it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves, I think, and it really is the quintessential Zelda experience. I think it set up an amazing fantasy lore for the Zelda universe, and I think that sort of goes unappreciated a lot, is how much work Zelda did to really make it a sort of like gaming's fantasy, rather than yet another game sort of in the adventure fantasy genre. Yeah. The way it expanded it was just incredible, and I think it did it in such a way that, like, other games have done it differently, but they haven't done it better yet. They've given it a different flavor, but they haven't really gone back to the root of, like, the core heart of the fairy tale of Ocarina of Time. And I don't mean the story of Ocarina of Time. I just mean that sort of tone, which I think is the quintessential Zelda tone. And they haven't built upon that and expanded it and improved it. They've taken that and twisted it into other things, which is also great. But, you know, I don't think Ocarina of Time has been antiquated at all by any other game.
Sure. Yeah. And I think what you're getting at is none of the newer games have that sort of freshness that it does.
Well, because they're all trying to do something new, and that's not bad. It's sort of an identity crisis a little bit.
But it's also something new on top of the Ocarina of Time sort of framework and formula and universe.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Gameplay-wise, it's very similar.
Yeah. I'll just spout off my last two honorable mentions. They're Fire Emblem Awakening and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yeah! DK. Mine is Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. I still haven't finished it.
No, it's not. You hated it. You said you hated it. Nice try, I caught you.
It's nice. I still haven't finished it.
Liar.
I don't prefer it. I love its world, though.
I'll give a shout out to Star Fox 64 3D as well, then.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought it did a really good job of just capturing everything that was great about the original, but making it a little prettier, giving you some more control options. Good.
I love
liked it.
the refresh soundtrack.
Mm,
That was
yeah.
nice.
So everybody, this marks the end of our honorable mentions discussion, but you can check out the rest of our top 5 discussions starting tomorrow.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe to us on iTunes or subscribe to us on YouTube at Gamnesia TV for bite-sized discussions from the show. And please head to iTunes to leave us a review. It really helps with visibility, so we greatly appreciate it, especially if you have good things to say instead of bad ones. If you have feedback for Nintendo Week, please send it to colin@gamnesia.com, and remember to send in your questions about Nintendo, about our show, about Super Mario Maker. We love engaging with you guys, and we read them and talk about them here on the show, so it's a great way to get involved. Again, that's colin@gamnesia.com, COLIN@gamnesia. If you can't wait till next week for more of our stuff, you can head to gamnesia.com to see more gaming news as it happens. We've got Sony, Microsoft, Indie, you name it, and even Nintendo news that we didn't have the time to discuss on this week's show. So thank you so much for listening, and we hope you have another great week.